So I did this video 2 years ago called What's on my PS5, and that was about my installed games, my play habits, how I like to set up game lists, the keep and home category, all that good stuff. And now we're checking in 2 years later on my PS5 Pro, which has much more storage, and seeing what's going on. That, and also we have the Welcome Hub, which has been a more recent update in the last year or so, which this is the most customizable area of the console. And so why not have another verbose conversation about how I like to have this set up here, and I'd be curious to hear what you're all doing with your consoles nowadays as well. But really, the Welcome Hub is indeed what the PlayStation 5 was missing. And I will always stand by this point of, I find the PS5 UI foundationally to be incredibly strong. Are there missteps? Are there weird areas? Absolutely. Things like activity cards and the play resume on game hubs and then them turning that off where you can't jump to certain sections. There's a lot of things we can point to, but on a foundational basis, what I appreciate about PlayStation 5's UI is that it prioritizes your software. All you need is all you need is the games lined up horizontally, similar to PlayStation 4, similar to PS3, vertically speaking. But you're getting, your software is the priority. You're seeing big imagery that takes over the background, even though one minor change they made there, and I say minor, but when you launch a game, if it's using activity cards, it's going to pull that image from the activity card and take over the key art. So a lot of people really don't like that aspect of it, but I still prefer this over something else. So I just find that it's really great that my software is at the forefront of the experience, and I get beautiful key art as well when I'm surfing through my games. So on a foundational basis, PS5 is excellent, but this is what it was missing, was a landing page that is customizable and you can really prioritize what you want to see. So for me, this is how I like having my Welcome Hub, which off rip, it's the battery widget. And now I got to get into a little rant. For those that don't know with the battery widget, you might look at this and go, okay, cool, a much bigger ring that gives you a more accurate read on the battery. It does not work like that. If you do sit there and just watch it, it will remove entire segments, so I think it still works on like a quarter basically. If it gets down to that point, it'll remove a whole section of the circle. So it's not really giving you a more accurate read, but it is giving you one that's easier to read versus the very tiny little icon with the 3 white bars in it. So either way, I still like having that to be one of the first things I like immediately notice to make sure that my controller was properly docked, because sometimes it isn't, which it's, well, dummy, well, at least I'll grab the other one so I know right away. But that and other VR2 controllers, things like that, the headset, it's great to see that there. Console storage, nice bird's eye view, not having to dive into storage settings, so I can see from console storage, M.2, and USB extended, which I have a lot of free space on that, but that is great. And I love having the media gallery be a this is the medium-sized widget, I think, for the media gallery. It can go bigger, but I love having it set up like this. And I'm not even somebody who uses like the share button often. Honestly, I almost never use it. But because you can dive into the share button and really be one of those crazy folks that get super deep into photo mode for games, and you might get way more mileage out of it. But I always loved how the console will take a screenshot of all your trophies. Now some folks turn that off because it might eat up storage ever so slightly over time, but it's dude, I love how you can, every console boot up, I just very briefly see, oh yeah, I remember that trophy, I remember that game, and it's always random and you can cycle through it. So it's just neat to have those small little moments be captured without you having to think about it and being able to see it. And I'm not really getting good screenshots here, but I think you get my point. It's neat to have some key moments just show up, and of course there's a shortcut to actually jump to that as well, which is awesome. So, oh wait, God, wait, hold on, we gotta go back. I love the trophy moment I chose for. I sometimes with the platinums, now I'm mindful of that. I want to make sure I save a really good final platinum moment. Wishlist, also super handy. It is annoying though that if a game does have a trial, it sort of overrides the price tag. So that is annoying. One thing I would like the company to address at some point. But just going through the wish list real quick, and sometimes it's really great to have a sale price listed right away so I know about it if the notification doesn't go off or if I don't see it or something like that. And then here's the other part of it too. So this is what was missing, was the social experience. I mean, PS4's What's New section, I think in the grand scheme of things, it was something that people loved looking at, but because nobody liked posts on it, it was kind of like a social media feed in a way where you could go into it and manually like certain posts or comment on things, if I remember correctly. But between that and the Vita's, separate game hub screen, like the live area for each application, it's something where I would imagine Sony's telemetry said, oh, people aren't really using this. But people did still like to look at it. So it's like that's what was missing with PlayStation 5, is that it felt very isolated, not very social. And now you have it. Something as minute as your landing page having a category for online friends and friend activity, like somebody playing Train Sim, somebody playing Sly 2 for the first time. Like, those are such little things that go a long way to remind you. I have friends, well, out of context, that sounds crazy. That sounds wild. Thank God I have friends, and the consoles told me about that. But it's a little moment that reminds you, hey, here are my friends, here's what they're up to, and you don't have to dig into GameBase. This was easily the best thing that this console got through a software update, and it goes a long way. With that in mind, going into the software, I mean, there's a lot that I could get into, or really not, because like not much has changed. I mean, I can save a lot more games, which is the handy thing. Well, what I should also note immediately is that Death Stranding 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, these are games that, well, more so Rebirth, because it's turned into a meme now at this point every time I bring the game up, or when I talk about it on Click R3, everyone's like, hey, Ryan, how's your Rebirth playthrough going? Like, I had to put it down because, oh, wait, DS2 came out. Oh, crap, now other things are coming out. Oh, crap, I have other videos I have to work on. So I do not like having to put down not just one, but two very big demanding games. So it's not fun. I don't like that. I have not been able to make progress on either of these games, but they're here. They're both installed, ready for me to jump back into them. So that's what's going on with DS2. For those curious about Master Duel, it's always on the home screen. Trust me, you've not lost me. I'm not lost in the sauce here. Like, oh my God, Ryan's a lost cause. He's playing nothing but Yu-Gi-Oh! He's gone. We can't pull him back out of that rabbit hole. That's a free-to-play game. It's always on there because I'm always doing at least my daily logins. I do not play Master Duel that much at all, quite frankly. It's more a matter of making sure that I get the daily login for gems. I watch a duel live, so I get like 25 gems per day. And since I'm not playing the game actively that often, I almost never, and not almost never, I never have had to spend money on the game. By the time I'm ready to like play it again, I have enough gems to build whatever deck I want. So I'm just very diligent on making sure I log in every day, because I don't play that many free-to-play games, but the ones I do, like, you are not getting shit out of me. I make sure that I can play the game in a way where it is not going to cost me much of anything. I don't know why I have Bugsnax on here. I think I just launched it one night. You know, sometimes when, oh, this is definitely a shared experience, right? You just got done playing games like for the entire night or whatever. You're going to go to bed soon, but you don't want to get up just yet. So you're kind of in purgatory there, right? You're just sitting there going, I'm going to get up in the next 5 minutes, but I just don't feel like doing that just yet. So what do? You just sort of look at stuff. You just kind of look around, and this is why I say, like, I find PS5's UI very analogous to PlayStation 3's, in that it prioritized the software in a manner where you can see a big picture of the background. You can sometimes hear music play if it's developer supplied. Some games they do it, others they don't. It really depends on the studio. And I know PS4 had this, but you had to like drop down on the each particular game screen to see all that stuff. And also PS4's game pages were actually very busy looking, with the side screen for likes and launch game and DLC packs, and then the DLC packs would show up on the right. I'm just digressing like crazy here, but you get my point. I find PS5's a little bit closer to PS3, and that you can just like look at nice, beautiful pictures. You get the soundtrack right. And so I think with Bugsnax one night, I was in that purgatory moment, and I just wanted to listen to this. Picture, like, it's like 4, maybe 5 in the morning, and I'm sitting here like disassociating. Love me some Bugsnax. But I did launch it too. So anyway, that's all what I've got recently installed. Console storage, 134. That's the crazy thing. Between 2 terabytes on internal storage and then my 2 terabyte internal SSD, and that can go up to 8 now with a software unlock, so you can go all the way up to 8 terabytes. I'm good with this. I still have plenty of space, and this is, I mean, a lot of it is, quite frankly, the classic games. Because I guess before I even show you this, I can go over to collection. I showed this 2 years ago, that video. I was telling you all that I like having the game list categorized for the classic games, just so it's a very easy way for me to keep up with what is the total count for the emulated PSP games that Sony has put out, really implicit conversions. Same for the PS1 games, so I'm still doing that. I think there's actually a few that I have to add to this still, but I always make sure that when the monthly games come out, I transact them, so I might not always download them, but I just make sure that I start the download screen and then don't download them, because when you do that, it goes into your collection. So that's what's going to allow you to then add it to a game list. And so I like keeping track of PSP, PS1, PS2 are also the emulated games, any of the newer ones that they have started doing now finally, but this doesn't include everything because there's still the older 2016 to 18 program that Sony did. And a lot of those games you had to buy, obviously. So that one's not completely full, but going back to installed, a lot of it is going to be classic games for sure. I do have a lot of the Astrobot ready to go now, and like principally this didn't change by way of like some of the things that I for sure want to stay on there, which would be like Luminous, Returnal, the Jack games. Those are always going to stay on the hard drive or the solid state drive. Concord for the recent documentary. Like that's the other thing too. There's going to be things that are a byproduct of recent videos. FBC Firebrick, I did want to launch at some point, and I just never got around to doing that. This is the other thing too. This is like a graveyard of games that I not only want to play, but have to go back to for the platinum. 16, I loved it. I love 16, but I got to go back and get my platinum. And then same for Ragnarok. I mean, this is sacrilege. Ryan from 10 years ago would have been hammering out these games, but now he's not really doing that quite to the degree of how I do it nowadays. I am tripping all over my words like crazy, folks. I apologize about that, but I got the GTAs ready to go. Got the Horizons now. That's what's, I guess, also good, is that I have enough space and enough wiggle room for leaving everything ready to go. Like when PS5 initially came out, it was really kind of annoying to like always be deleting and reinstalling some of the big AAA PS Studio stuff, because I wouldn't be able to fit all of it on there alongside any third-party games. But that's the thing, I would always need that space for like if I was gonna film something for the channel. So maybe more particular to me as a problem that's more unique, but otherwise it's still great to have all this extra space for pretty much everything. And it is kind of nutty that even with 4 terabytes of storage and the classic games are pretty bite-sized, but I'm up to 134 games that are like ready to go and launchable, and I still have space to spare. Gotta do Stellar Blade. Oh god, it's a nightmare. But I can have both part 1 and part 2 on there. Got my Stanley Parable, still waiting 8 years to do the platinum because I want to do it legitimately, but it's all on here. Oh, hey, Vampires. I was playing a lot of Vampire Survivors, actually. I want to say 6-ish months ago, but hey, same thing. Disassociating after a long gaming night. Sometimes Vampire Survivors, you got to do this. Ooh, it's fire. I love it. I love it. And then I think USB extended storage has not changed almost at all. I'm really not playing that much PS4 stuff, so this all is kind of the same. Still like playing Super Stardust Ultra every once in a while, do an arcade run there, but that is pretty much it. Yeah, like it's a lot more space. Still keeping up with game lists, but I mean the big thing for sure was having the Welcome Hub and having it set up like that now. And if I didn't say for the background too, I like having the stock background. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. I prefer having something that's not that visually noisy. So I always gravitate towards backgrounds that are like, and almost always they're stock backgrounds. Some people that know that about me, they think I'm crazy because I almost never customize my phone, my desktop, my consoles. I almost always leave the stock images on because they are made to be visually quite clean looking. So even some of the other ones though that are supplied, they might be a little too visually noisy, and it's just a little bit too much. That one's actually not too bad, but I don't know. I think back to the custom PS3 and PS4 themes, and some of them like I'm like, this is like tough to look at. There's just a little too much going on. So I really like the more clean looking ones, and this is, I think, for me, this is the perfect one. It's a slight motion, a little bit dynamic, but it still feels very PlayStation-esque with the, buttons floating in the ether. Otherwise, though, that's it. That's me rambling for yet again another 15-something minutes. I'm sorry for being annoying, but I'd be curious to hear where people are with us nowadays. Thank you so much for joining me in this conversation, and I will see you all in my next video. You take it easy.